What's good, everybody? Welcome back to DarkWaters9. Today we have some of the most mysterious paranormal footage caught on camera. Starting with this, these people caught something extremely weird in the water after an earthquake.
This footage was taken in South America off the coast of Chile after a 6.4 magnitude earthquake. Let me know what you think it is.
Now, I haven't been fishing on a boat in a while, but I do remember when you go out, you do see algae like raised to the surface. But this, it appears it has eyes, a nose, and a mouth.
Now, in my crazy opinion, I really don't think something like this is natural. Because I really do think at one time this had to be a person. Because as much as you want to believe that this is just possibly nature, there has to be something more to this than just that. Now, honestly, ladies, would you really wear something like that? Because honestly, has the fashion industry really ran out of ideas? Or is there something more dark and demonic going on? Because this was at a fashion show in Paris. Because if you really think about it, this is creepy.
Wow, that is creepy. And how can they even see where they're walking is the question. But what are they trying to symbolize here? What exactly is the statement here?
You think you're looking at a rock. You think you're looking at a cliff face. This is a tree in Costa Rica, the Ceiba tree, which is revered to have one of the highest frequency energy emissions of any tree in the natural world. But the question is, what does this tree look like when it's cut down?
If this isn't the Avatar mother tree, I don't know what is.
What does this tree look like when it's cut down? And you may be thinking, why possibly would you want to even picture such a beautiful species, specimen, be cut down? And it's because I got to show you something. Do you remember this video from Ghana, a similar looking species of tree that is gushing water when they cut into it? I don't know what these bushmen were doing. For some reason wanted to cut it down. Notice this. This video was taken in North Carolina. In the forest, a tree so massive it tapped into something. Its roots went deep enough. It's a freaking fountain, a spring. Now have a look in totally unrelated news at this flat-topped mountain and the never-ending waterfalls coming off the top of it. Also notice it's not snow melt and it doesn't look like it's raining.
You ever seen that movie, that Disney movie Up, Paradise Falls? How crazy would it be if they based that off this? The scientific term they call it is mesas, which means flat table. But how exactly did they get flat?
In fact, this mountain appears to be above the clouds. Here is a giant leaf said to be bajillions of years old. And in unrelated other information news, we have a real tree stump and a flat-topped mountain. We have a tree that is all fricking blown over and sharp and jagged. I'm just saying. And we have more examples of that.
Look at the size of this leaf, though. If they had leaf this big, can you imagine how big the fruit was? You want to talk about James and the Giant Peach? This makes you look at that movie a little bit more different, huh?
Freaking blown over and sharp and jagged. I'm just saying. And we have more examples of that. We have this massive magma formation in the Amazon. And we have this artist's depiction of, didn't they mention that trees were gigantic in ancient times as well? But the mainstream refuses to acknowledge that. They tell you this is formed from erosion. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. But who cut them down? And why? And how? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
Look at this thing. It could have said straight up into the clouds. You know what I'm saying? They cut it down at the root, as close as down to the ground as they could. What I want to know is what happened to the rest of the tree if they cut it. Because you got to think, this thing is massive. Like, did it just disintegrate? Did they use it to build something? What happened to the rest of the tree? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. It's crazy we just got done talking about trees, because what does this represent? You know, what does this look like to you guys right here? You know what I'm saying? And someone has a house right there? That is insane to have a house right there. All it takes is one bad night. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is one out of control night and you stumble too far. And next thing you know, Alright, this is not CGI. The title says this is a lightning space. Listen to that sound. Guys, how crazy are these sprites? This is the electric phenomenon that's going on in the upper atmosphere. And just look how they pop open. This isn't a mystery, you know? Like, how do they get formed? How much ion particles have to be in the sky to make one of these bust open? You know, I'm starting to think Stranger Things got their idea from this. You know, if you ever seen that, I haven't watched it past season 2 or 3, but I do remember seeing some crazy clips of stuff like this pop off. This next one says, do you ever feel like you're being watched? What exactly is this? It looks like a statue of a dragon. Looks like something's on top. Very interesting. Maybe that's artwork of it blowing fire, because this resembles a fire. So I do believe this is like some type of lion or dragon that's like breathing fire, and it like shoots out everywhere. How crazy is this statue?
Yo, is this the real sun?
Y'all, check this out. This guy does a really good job explaining that the sun could possibly be a NASA sun simulator. He said he hasn't felt the same in the sun for a while now. It hasn't felt as refreshing or rejuvenating. He noticed these reflections as he would take pictures of the sun. They'd almost have a honeycomb-like effect. What he finds is absolutely mind-blowing. Take a look.
This is a NASA patent for a sun simulator. You can see the pattern. Now I want you to focus on this part right here. To me, this part resembles a LED light. Now this is a red light that I have in my house. I use it at night. It's just more calming. Now, if you take a picture of an LED light, it'll actually cause a little reflection in certain parts of the screen depending on where you move the camera angle. And this is a reflection of that LED light. Now, I started doing that with the sun, and you can test it for yourself. There'll be this little green dot that actually reflects, which is a reflection of the sun. You'll see it in your camera. And I started taking pictures like this every day, trying to catch one clear enough, but they were all blurry. And one day I caught the sun going behind this mountain, and you can see how crystal clear that is. This is what it looks like zoomed in.
Oh no. Guys, what is this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What type of honeycomb pattern, hexagonal features is going on?
Now we're going to compare that with the NASA sun simulator patent. Yeah. Now, I don't know for sure if this is actually a sun simulator, or if that's the real sun that Yahuwah created, or if the real sun Yahuwah created is behind that sun simulator, powering their false one, because the sun has very powerful healing benefits. I go out in a day where it's bright like this, where there's barely any clouds in the sky, where that thing is just beaming. Go out in the sun for an hour or two, and let me know how you guys feel, because I could just be overthinking.
Last year, it was just too hot, man. It's like I couldn't be outside for that long, and it just was like overbearing, like I'm in the desert, you know? That's just me. How are you guys feeling last year in the sun? Is it getting too hot? I want you guys to really pay attention to it this year. Oh no. Guys, what is this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What type of honeycomb pattern?
Dang. The truth shall make us free. Hallelujah. Shalom, shalom. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. And Yahuwah barak you.
I don't know about you guys, but man, pretty compelling. I can't say for sure 100% either way, but that reflection looked a lot like the same design as NASA's Sun Simulator. Very interesting indeed. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
More crazy stuff popping up in the sky. It doesn't stop. What is going on here? Something projecting off of whatever, like something hovering above, but it's almost like translucent the way we could see that project off the top. So I'm trying to think, is this like a bottom of like some type of aircraft, but it's translucent in a way.
Okay, you have got to see this video of a 100-pound anvil floating in Mercury. And this gets into why were the Egyptians obsessed with Mercury? Why did they find red mercury in different places? Why are there lakes of liquid mercury under the ancient Chinese pyramids? I don't know if you guys heard about this. Just check this out.
Yeah, the terracotta warriors. They're saying the emperor had a mercury lake surrounding him for some reason. Why? I'm not too sure. But this anvil floating in mercury is definitely shocking. What is going on here?
We got to discuss it.
Here's my 110-pound iron-working anvil. Set it in here and see if it floats. It doesn't seem to want to stay upright. I'll just let it tip over. Here it is. It's floating. Look at that. The iron anvil floats because mercury has a density nearly twice that of iron. In fact, due to the density ratios, the iron actually floats better than wood does in water. Oh, it's hard to push down. Hammer in.
He was beating it with a hammer trying to get it to go down.
Hammer floats too. That's pretty great. Hope you enjoyed.
Okay, so my question is, first thing, where the Sam Dam did you get a whole bunch of freaking mercury? Can you just buy that? Because this could be experimented with. You know, the other thing that's interesting is...
That is an interesting question. How did he get that much mercury? What Tartarian tower did he crack open and pour that into a bucket? You know what I'm saying?
Is when I'm talking about red mercury, it's a mythical substance. Like, there's not a lot of information on it. It's actually considered to be a myth. However, there's like ancient articles and whatnot talking about red mercury and how it has these strange properties where it could heat places with no, smoke. And this is what these ancient Tartarian buildings were said to be heated with, was red mercury. It had to do with the ether and collecting free energy with those spires on tops of all the buildings. And I'm not joking, by the way, about the Chinese pyramid, or Chinese, it was where they found those hundreds of terracotta men, the terracotta army of men that was buried underground. The major temple next to that insane historical site has a compartment underneath it of a lake of liquid mercury. Either they built the thing on top of that, or they brought that in for some reason. There may be properties to these elements which we are not told, but I can tell you they know all about, probably in the Vatican archives.
What was that emperor doing with all that mercury? People online say that he was trying to live forever, but what does that have to do with mercury?
Confirming. That's not a satellite. No visible rotation. It's shifting. That's not a reflection. Control, do you copy this? I repeat, do you see this on your end? Control? It's positioned directly between us and the moon. The surface of this thing, it doesn't reflect light the way it should. It looks almost liquid. The object, it's moving fast.
First thing that comes to mind is a venom symbiote, because they say the venom comes from outer space. Is this venom symbiote out there hovering. And now that looks like some type of vehicle. Did it morph into a vehicle? What's going on here?
At about 2 o'clock, just above the lunar horizon. Size to determine what is too large to be debris and of transmission.
What the f is that?
God. Holy shit.
People are online saying that this is called hologram testing. Why would you need to test something like this is the first question that comes to mind. It's almost like something's gonna fly straight out of there. You know what I'm saying? It's that time of the day again. If you thought I didn't have another excellent specimen for you today, think again. If you're new around here, what we do is we look at specimens every day and we give it a rating and a name. All right. What we got here, it seems to be some type of, what is this? They're not really telling us what the specimen is, but off the bat, if I had to guess, it would have to be a tourmaline after doing this for a minute. And I love it. This specimen is out of control, to say the least. The rating I'm gonna give this, 9.7. This is a high number. We might have to redo our rating system and go back. 9.7, man. Look at the base, the cotton candy base with the nerds crystals protruding out, and then we go to the main event. These emerald towers infused with a strawberry resin gushing through the base. If I had to name this, I would call it the Martian Handshake. You know, because it kind of looks like a alien reaching out to shake your hand in a weird way. You know, it's a Martian Handshake. I love it. Martian Handshake 9.7. I want your guys' creative names and your rating. Drop it in the comments below.
Believed to be gateways to the underworld, holding powerful energies that should never be disturbed. All this makes us wonder what else is hiding in the Grand Canyon. The Sipapu. These cities are believed to be gateways to the underworld, holding powerful energies that should never be disturbed. All this makes us wonder what else is hiding in the Grand Canyon.
What did he say? Sipapu? What is that? So now we're going to do an even deeper dive based off that last video we just watched. So lock in and buckle up, because this is about to be a ride.
In 1908, President Teddy Roosevelt wanted to declare the Grand Canyon off limits to all timber and mining operations. It would take another 11 years for Congress to designate the Grand Canyon a national park. Sensing a final opportunity for adventure, explorer G.E. Kincaid took a boat down the Colorado River and through the Grand Canyon. The canyon was rich in minerals like gold, silver, and copper, and Kincaid wanted to see what he could find before the area was closed off for good. About 40 miles upriver from the El Tovar Crystal Canyon, Kincaid saw stains in the sediment formation about 2,000 feet up. He tied off the boat and got out to investigate. Kincaid couldn't find a trail, but after a short hike he found something interesting covered in desert brush. Steps, hundreds of them, carved in sandstone. Steps that wound their way up to a high shelf on the side of the canyon. He followed the steps until he...
My whole thing is those steps still gotta be there, guys. There was steps and all this crazy stuff in the Grand Canyon. It's still gotta be there. There's no way they found all of it. Unless they doing undercover military LiDAR scans that ain't telling nobody.
Came across a cavern entrance, an entrance that was clearly man-made. Kincaid entered the cavern and turned on his flashlight. On the walls he saw writing, but it wasn't English or Native American writing. It was ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Kincaid lifted his flashlight and saw that the tunnel ran far into the distance. He didn't realize it at the time, but this was only the beginning. When G.E. Kincaid tied off his small wooden boat to investigate the strange coloration of the rock wall, he was hoping to find clues that would lead him to a mineral deposit. He wasn't expecting to find hieroglyphics. When Kincaid noticed chisel marks in the walls, he drew his pistol, turned on another light, and slowly walked deeper into the gloom. He kept detailed notes of everything he saw.
The main passageway is about 12 feet wide, narrowing to 9 feet toward the farther end. About 57 feet from the entrance, the first side passages branch off to the right and left, along which on both sides are a number of rooms about the size of ordinary living rooms of today.
Is there any more people like G. Kincaid that's out there to this day that's still out there adventuring? You know, we hear about our Admiral Byrd, our G.E. Kincaids. Where's that person at now in our current day timeline, you know? Maybe we should do something about that. Maybe we need to form our own exploration group. I'm with it. We could do this together. Bring supplies, get some drones, get some nice cameras, you know, really document this stuff. Get our Tomb Raider and our Indiana Jones on, you know what I'm saying? I'm with it.
Some are 30 by 40 feet square. These are entered by oval-shaped doors and are ventilated by round air spaces through the walls into the passages. The walls are about 3 feet 6 inches in thickness. The passages are chiseled or hewn as straight as could be laid out by an engineer. The ceilings of many of the rooms converge to a center. The side passages near the entrance run at a sharp angle from the main hall, but toward the rear they gradually reach a right angle in direction.
G.E. Kincaid now realized he was in a huge complex. He estimated that as many as 50,000 people could have lived here. In some rooms he found granaries with shelves of glazed pottery, many of which still contain seeds. He found cooking areas and a huge
I'd throw those seeds in some soil so quick and see what they were. What do you think? What type of seeds you think they found? And he's talking about a giant room with 50,000 people that can fit inside. Where is this room at now? What part of hidden in the Grand Canyon is this spot at specifically that they're talking about?
dining hall. The rooms were full of ancient artifacts. Kincaid carefully wrapped a few small metal and ceramic objects for later study. Another large room Kincaid described as an area for metalwork, a technology that should not have existed in this area.
Here are found tools of all descriptions made of copper. These people undoubtedly knew the lost art of hardening this metal, which has been sought by chemicals for centuries without result.
It's interesting because there's buildings all over the world, especially in India, that how they make chain out of stones and just different contraptions. They knew how to bend stone to their will almost, you know? It's almost like they were rematerializing stone, granite, marble, and doing whatever they wanted. We see this all across the world in different civilizations. But me personally, the structures in India really are wowing me. Like Kailasa Temple, like it's hard to explain. It's definitely a mystery.
On a bench running around the workroom with some charcoal and other material probably used in the process. There's also slag and stuff similar to mat, showing that these ancients smelted ores, but so far no trace of where or how this was done has been discovered, nor the origin of the ore.
G.E. Kincaid explored the underground complex for several hours, still having no idea when this place was used, what it was used for, or who the builders were. Then he came across another large room, a crypt. The crypt had shelf upon shelf and row upon row of mummies, dozens of them. At this point, G.E. Kincaid realized that if he was going to explore this entire underground city, he was going to need help. G.E. Kincaid sent a few artifacts to the Smithsonian along with his notes of what he found. He requested financial and logistical support for what he felt was the most significant archaeological discovery ever made. The Smithsonian agreed. A few weeks later, Professor S.A. Jordan arrived with a team of about 40 scientists, researchers, and laborers to excavate and explore the ancient underground city. Now,
I wonder if anyone physically asked the Smithsonian, hey, do you guys have anything on G.E. Kincaid, like the relics and everything that he supposedly pulled out of the Grand Canyon? Is it true or not? You know, I wonder if anyone just legitimately asked. I don't know, maybe I'm just an optimist. They might just say, yeah, you know, actually here, check out these mummies and stuff we pulled out the Grand Canyon, you know. Who knows? I'm just saying, I haven't really seen anybody physically ask them about it. Have you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
with more lights and manpower, the scientists realized that the cave system layout wasn't random. It was a symmetrical, deliberate design. The tunnels all led to a central chamber. In the chamber was a large statue of what Kincaid thought looked like Buddha.
Over 100 feet from the entrance is the cross hall, several hundred feet long, in which are found the idol or image of the people's god, sitting cross-legged with a lotus flower or lily in each hand. The cast of this face is oriental, and the carving in this cavern. The idol almost resembles Buddha, though the scientists are not certain as to what religious worship it represents. Taking into consideration everything found thus far, it is possible that this worship most resembles the ancient people of Tibet.
Because of this discovery,
How serious is this now? We're finding Egyptian artifacts. There's a room with over 50,000 people can fit. They're finding actual mummies. There's a giant Buddha statue. It's like everything was mixed into one here. All these civilizations mixed into one. What exactly is going on here?
Kincaid's team started calling the complex the Citadel. The crypt is one of the bigger rooms discovered. Now, with enough light, Kincaid was able to fully describe what he saw.
The walls slant back at an angle of about 35 degrees. On these are tiers of mummies, each one occupying a separate hewn shelf. At the head of each is a small bench, on which is found copper cups and pieces of broken swords. Some of the mummies are covered with clay, and all are wrapped in a bark fabric. The urns or cups on the lower tiers are crude, while as the higher shelves are reached, the urns are finer in design, showing a later stage of civilization. It is worthy of note that all the mummies examined so far have proved to be male, no children or females being buried here. This leads to the belief that this exterior section was the warriors' barracks.
Wow, look at this. Did they actually show us one? You know, look at how descriptive this entire story is. It's either someone's putting an immense amount of effort trying to manufacture this story, or someone's working extremely hard to cover it up.
Jordan and the Smithsonian team explored the entire cave complex. They were overwhelmed with evidence that this was not some faraway temple occupied by a few priests. This was a huge city lived in by thousands of men, women, and children for hundreds or possibly thousands of years. In 1908, President
You know, there's no evidence of any of this. It's just like it just got erased from history. I want you guys to tell me your thoughts in the comments below. This is one of my favorite subjects. I can talk about this stuff all day. Alright, so we have some more paranormal activity caught on film. Actually on someone's Ring camera. And let's decide if this is real or AI. Alright guys, it's still going. Whatever this is running amok. Whatever plasma void entity this is, it's running amok, crashing into the garbage can. This just makes me think of all the different Ring cameras that actually do catch something. I feel like there should be a website or a hub we can go to where you can put real mysterious stuff that popped up that your Ring camera actually caught. You know what I'm saying? That's all we got for today's video. If you made it this far, go ahead and drop hidden mysteries, or hidden mystery is the code word. When you drop that in the comments below, that lets me know your family, you made it all the way through the video. On your way out, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. This was the most mysterious videos that question everything.